We have the pleasure of welcoming Jason Averbook today to our interview series. Welcome, Jason.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm very, very honored, and thank you so much for having me.
And thank you so much for your time today. peopleHum is an end-to-end, one-view integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Award for HCM. We run the peopleHum blog and video channel, which receives upwards of 15,000 visitors a month. So the first question I had for you, Jason, was, coming to the current scenario, the chaos that's going on, how do you believe the future will now change from the impact of coronavirus, and what is missing from the way we do disaster management?
The way that I've been talking about it is that we've moved into a now of work scenario, whether we like it or not. We've been forced into a now of work with people working from home, with people looking for answers, with people unsure about what's next, with employees not knowing if they're going to have a job, with employees not knowing how to interact with their managers when all of a sudden they're not in the same physical place as their managers. So these are all things that we've been working on for decades, for the last 2 decades. But all of a sudden, we've been put into the position where the future of work has now become the now of work. And both the organizations are scared and the employees are scared. And I have to say that they're not as scared about the virus as they're scared about what it means to work.
Absolutely. I think, one of the important things is to actually be together in it and to understand how to cope with this together, which is a really big ordeal right now.
What are the things that HR needs to do to be responsive and reactive to the situation at hand? So that's a position that, HR, one of the oldest professions in the world, we're not necessarily great at moving fast, but guess what? We're in a position now where the now of work requires us to move fast.
Absolutely. That brings me to the next question, which is, what is your advice to organizations that are trying to create a great employee experience? What should they focus on?
So when we're thinking about creating an employee experience, and I'm going to try not to get focused on today as much as the bigger picture, realizing that the crisis we're in today is one, there's a set of answers, but I believe that my answers will tie to both, to all situations. The first thing is that we have to think about designing the experience for the employee and for the manager first, which means I can't take a bunch of HR stuff and just push it out to people. The standard words that sit in a core HR or a core human capital management system mean nothing to an employee. So when I think about creating experience, I have to put it in the language and the design for the person that's interacting first. Okay, we have a lot to learn in HR as the function has shifted from a business to business function to a business to consumer function. We haven't done a great job of shifting how we actually think about what we deploy to people from an experience standpoint. So the first thing is designed for them. The second thing is it has to be more than transactions. What captivates us and what gets us addicted to an experience is interaction. I could sit and talk to you all night, but guess what? I couldn't do that if I was just reading. Watching your face, watching you nod, watching your eyes as I talk to you, that's interaction. And guess what? It keeps me engaged. If I was just doing this via audio, I'd be a quarter of the percentage engaged. So thinking about that and thinking about how do I don't just create transaction. The formula that I like to use is transaction plus interaction equals experience. Okay, if we're just transacting, if I was just typing to you, that's just part of it. And then the third thing, and I think this is so important and we're so not good at it right this second, is that experience changes by the day. So I need to be looking at a whole new world of analytics and measures that tell me that, hey, guess what? 32 people searched today for something that they couldn't find the answer to. What do? Today or tomorrow, I fix it. I don't wait till the next release. I don't wait till the next upgrade. I fix it now. So experience is something that's not a one-time thing and I roll it out and I'm done with it till the next version or the next project, experience is always on. It has to be always on, because guess what? Our employees and managers are quote unquote always on. So if we don't think about that, what we're doing is we set ourselves up for failure and we don't continue to innovate. The way that I like to talk about it is we have to treat experience like a pet, not like a rock. I have a rock. It can sit there, it can sit there for 2 years without being touched. But when I think about experience, I have to walk it every day. I have to water it every day. I have to take it out every day. I have to pet it every day and make it feel good. And guess what? HR organizations don't have the operating model in a lot of cases to think that way.
Absolutely. That is a very interesting take on employee experience. Thank you for that.
Thank you for asking.
So apart from data, how will artificial intelligence shape the way we create workplace experiences?
Artificial intelligence will augment how people work, okay? Artificial intelligence isn't a magic answer. And there's people that think, hey, AI and artificial intelligence, once we've got that, we're set. There's a whole body of work that has to happen in every organization that answers this question. How do we want people and machines to work together? Frankly, I'm quite frustrated the organizations that say AI is going to replace people. Because guess what? AI is not going to replace people. AI is going to help people do their jobs better. And AI is going to help the HR function become more empathetic and more human. So I always think about it in this way. And, I'll use this example really quickly. Hands, heads, and hearts. So AI can start to replace the hands work. Okay, that's what AI is great at right now. It's really good at replacing some of the transactional hands work. And it's starting to help me with the heads work. It's starting to produce information that I can then use my brain to understand what it's saying. But AI is not good at hearts work. AI is not empathetic to the fact that, guess what? I don't have enough food to feed my family. Or guess what? I have a death in the family. Or guess what? I've been sick for 3 weeks and I don't know what I'm going to do. AI is not the answer to that. So I hope that makes sense. I truly think that in creating the experience, the ultimate employee experience, we have to think about how do we blend hands, heads, and hearts together and push AI onto the right things, which is the hands work, so that we can spend more time on what humans are great at, which is the hearts work.
The example is absolutely great. Well, that brings me to the last question that I have for you today, Jason. What is your vision for human capital management systems of tomorrow?
It has changed over the last decade drastically because of the outside world. So, originally we just wanted to make sure we had data, as HR people. We just wanted to make sure we had good data, and hopefully we could use it for something. And what happened over time was we realized that the only way to get good data was to involve people. Like, we can't key enough data. Like, we need to make sure that people are using tools, they're engaged in journeys to create the data that I need to make decisions. So when we think what that means to the future is we stop designing processes for HR people. We start designing journeys for employees and managers. We stop thinking about what's the impact on HR of putting this system in place, to thinking about what's the impact on how is it making my people feel, to create an experience for them to drive their engagement at work. Okay, we stop thinking about the fact that I'm going to run a report and email it off to someone, versus I'm going to be able to proactively and predictively have data pushed to people to help them do their jobs. I'm not going to have call centers. I'm going to have experience centers that drive people to be more engaged, and the transactional questions they have are going to be answered by tools like AI and machine learning. I'm not going to think about services that I provide HR. I'm going to think about experiences that I provide to the workforce. The core HCM solution is going to be the foundation. It's going to be the brain. It's going to be the heart of this. How we then take the data from that heart and push it out to people and make sure that it's an experience that we're not worried about adoption. What we're worried about is, are they addicted to it? Because guess what? We're shifting from adoption to addiction. And if they're addicted to it, guess what? They're going to go to it for everything. Just like we go to our phones for everything, they're going to go to this place that's going to make them a better employee and drive better results for the business. So I truly think the future human capital management system is really about employee relationships. We probably end up shifting the name at some time from human capital management to employee relationship management. Because what I really want to do is I want to manage the relationship between my workforce, employees, contractors, gig workers, et cetera, and me, just like I manage the relationship with my customers. Why is it that, customer relationship management is called CRM, not customer capital management, but human capital management is called HCM. The relationship, the attention, the engagement, the value of that person to the organization has to be exposed, and it has to be exposed more. And I truly think that's the future of where HR or people systems, workforce solutions, or what we like to call the digital workplace, where that's headed. Customer relationship management is called CRM, not customer capital management, but human capital management is called HCM. The relationship, the attention, the engagement, the value of that person to the organization has to be exposed, and it has to be exposed more. And I truly think that's the future of where HR or people systems, workforce solutions, or what we like to call the digital workplace, where that's headed.
Right, that's a beautiful answer, Jason. And you're right, it's not just data in, data out, but it's about crafting the entire experience, right? And to free people for much better tasks, for higher order thinking, right?
Yeah, and let's not even fool around with the transactional to strategic anymore. Let's focus it on humans. Let's go away from the transactional to a focus on how do I drive people to do their best work, to be their best at work, and to make sure that work is the best experience that it can be for them.
Right, that's a beautiful answer, Jason. It was a complete pleasure talking to you.
Oh, I loved it. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I hope the entire peopleHum community gets something out of this.